What is going on, guys? Jake here, and today I'm going to be talking about the level 100 talents for Death Knights and Warlords of Draenor. I've got many YouTube messages about this, asking my opinion, to cover them, what I think, which will go to which class, so on and so forth. And that's what I plan on doing. But before I get into that, I want to let you guys know that this is going to be a two-part series. Alright? In this first video, I will be going over the talents and what what spec I feel they are strongest for. The second part of the series is going to be me covering what I don't like about them, how they can be changed to increase Death Knight survivability and utility, be it in RPGs, duels, or arenas. So without any further ado, let's get in the first part and let's go over each of these new talents. And the first one we're going to start off with, Necrotic Plague. This is going to be a passive and it's going to replace your Blood Plague. A powerful disease that deals 100 damage per stack and every 3 seconds for 30 seconds. Each time it deals damage, it gains 1 stack and jumps to another enemy nearby if possible. Cannot be spread by pestilence. So, I think without a doubt, this will be going for the Unholy Death Knights. There's no two ways about it. This is strong for Unholy. Unholy comes from its dot damage, and this is going to be an increased dot damage. Now, while it's not listed, what I'm thinking it's going to be able to do is, let's say you have a tight little arena, right? Doing 3v3, 5v5, 2v2, be whatever it is. You apply your Necrotic Plague with your Frost Fever. You only apply it onto one target. So, therefore, it bounces to the healer in the 2v2, or so on and so forth, whatever it may be. Now, what I can't help but think is that it's going to bounce to player number 2, and then from player number 2, it will bounce back to player number 1. Therefore, it will be able to gain stacks very quickly. So, I feel like it's going to actually be extremely powerful in tight situations. So you might see Necrotic Plague being played in with a Glyph Death and Decay for slow, so it can make it so the disease can bounce back between enemies, with a Gorfiend's Grasp, or a Chillblains to Chains of Ice and Icy Touch targets to keep them slow. Mine is for Unholy Death Knights only. I don't feel like Necrotic Plague is going to be there for Frost. There's a good chance it could be there for Blood. Maybe for raiding. But, you know, Blood DKs aren't really in PvP right now. They might be in Draenor, but as of now, I'm going to say Necrotic Plague, going for the Unholy DKs, without a doubt. Alright, next we have Defile. This will replace Death and Decay. It has a 30-yard range, costs 1 Unholy Rune, and comes with a 30-second cooldown. Defile is the ground targeted by the Death Knight, causing 100 shadow damage every 1 second for 10 seconds. Each time Defile deals damage, it increases in area and damage by 5%. This growth can occur a maximum of 3 times per second. Alright. This, I feel, is going to be Frost's bread and butter. I feel like this is going to be extremely strong, and it's going to be somewhat with the same with the Necrotic Plague and talent selection to maximize its damage. Now, I feel Gorfiend's Grasp combination with this to keep opponents within Defile is going to be really strong to make it grow farther and farther in range, as well as increase its damage. Same can go with Chillblains, being able to spam Howling Blast that Frost Death Knights are able to, will also give them a very strong edge in this. As well, the Chains of Ice roots. But one thing I am hoping for, and is not really listed, that Death and Decay does get removed. So would the Glyph of Death and Decay apply for Defile, or would the Death and Decay Glyph just automatically become the Glyph of Defile, since you're not able to glyph talents? So if I were to keep my Death and Decay Glyph up, would Defile take its benefits, since it is replacing it? If so, that would be extremely powerful, since you already have a slow in something that increases damage for times that enemies spend in it. It's a very powerful combination when you get right down to it. So if you can keep the slow up with Death and Decay, or just keep them slowed in with Chillblains, or gripping them in with Gorfiend's Grasp, man, I gotta tell you, Frost looks pretty powerful with this one. Frost is really able to lock players down with slows and keeping them right on top of each other. So I gotta say, Defile is going to be, without a doubt, Frost Death Knight's favorite talent in this tree. Again, possibly Blood. Like I said, they're not viable in PvP right now, and PvE I don't know too much, so I'm not going to give my opinion on that. Finally, the last talent, Breath of Sindragosa. 15 runic power to start it, and 15 runic power per second after that. This comes with a 1-minute cooldown. Continuously deals 2,000 Shadow Frost damage in enemies every 1 second in a cone in front of you. This effect lasts until runic power is exhausted or cancelled. So, this is the talent that I cannot get behind whatsoever for any spec. And I'm going to tell you why. You're dealing 2,000 Shadow Frost damage every 1 second, okay? And with the item squish, that's a lot of damage. right? You can look at it like, wow, you know, if I pop my burst and I have full runic power, holy crap, that's great. But the fact of the matter is, it's 15 runic power per second, okay? Remember how much we used to hate conversion with a dying passion? Remember that? Remember when it was only 10 runic power per second? And it would just drain everything we had in no time at all? I remember that pretty well. Brother Sindragosa is going to do that and then some. So quite honestly, to tell you like it is, Breath of Sindragosa is going to be the worst talent on this tree. You're not going to see a Frost, Unholy, or Blood taking this. It costs too much and it doesn't do enough. There's lots of other 100 talents that do a ton of damage and have a high cost for multiple other classes. And honestly, only dealing 2,000 Shadow Frost damage for 15 runic power per second, it's not worth it. Runic power is way too precious for a Death Knight to do your Death Coils, your Rune Strikes, your Frost Strikes, to keep yourself rolling if you're using Blood Tap, to keep your runes rolled over. And to waste it away with Breath of Sindragosa, which is only dealing 2,000 damage per second, it's not worth it. If the damage was doubled or possibly tripled, then I could possibly see this being a viable talent. But until then, it doesn't hold the viability for anything, be it Frost, Unholy, or Blood. And I don't even think it has a viability in PvE. Maybe it does, but honestly, right now, for PvP, which I do a lot of, I can tell you that Breath of Sindragosa is going to be the absolute last talent you will go for. Alright guys, so that was talents in Warlords of Draenor. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like. It always helps and lets me know that you enjoy what I'm doing. And comment below as well telling me what do you think will be the best talent for each spec and why. Maybe we have different opinions, maybe you could point out something I'm not seeing. But as always guys, have a good one.